They arrive not with a fanfare, but with a sigh. The end of the road.
Their stories are etched in scars, logged in a VIN, and their fate is decided here.
Each vehicle is VIN logged, damage assessed, and ownership cleared.
Classified for reuse, remanufacture, or scrap.
Not all arrivals are tragedies. Some are sleeping legends, awaiting their resurrection.
The first act of rebirth is a purge. Every hazardous memory must be removed.
Lifeblood, contaminated by time and stress, is carefully reclaimed.
Even the climate of its past life is captured and contained.
The new hazards of a new age require reverence and absolute procedure.
Each fluid, a potential poison to earth or water, is segregated with reverence.
The final disconnection. The electrical soul extinguished.
When the body is beyond repair, we perform a transplant. The heart must be saved. Sometimes surgery requires violence. What cannot be unbolted must be liberated.
The moment of separation. A heart removed, still capable of life. It begins its solitary journey, stripped of context, reduced to pure mechanical form. The first diagnosis. Given a new identity. Tracked from this moment through every stage of its metamorphosis.
The search for hidden flaws begins. What the eye cannot see, science will reveal. The triage. Only 15 to 30% will qualify for full rebirth. The rest will contribute in other ways. Every surface is interrogated. Perfection is the only acceptable outcome.
Measured to within 2 microns, the width of a bacteria, the difference between life and death.
The verdict.
Condemned to the furnace, to be melted, purified, and born again as new metal.
The deconstruction. Stripped to its elemental pieces. Nothing is assumed reusable.
Every bolt has a story, a specific tension, a precise order of operation, reversed with equal reverence.
The first great unveiling. The combustion chamber, the sacred space where fire was tamed.
The soul of the machine, forged, balanced, polished to a mirror finish. Its condition tells the entire life story.
The messengers of force, translating explosion into rotation millions of times. Each scar a testament.
When patience and tools fail, we bring Promethean fire. Some bonds must be broken absolutely to be remade.
The lungs of forced induction. Each blade a precisely shaped airfoil, now choked by the byproducts of its own ambition. The brain's timing mechanism, dictating the breath of every valve, thousands of times a minute. Its profile is the engine's personality.
The baptism. A journey through chemical fire to strip away every trace of the past.
Pressure measured in bars. Temperature near boiling. This is not a gentle bath. This is an interrogation by liquid force.
Merging, not just clean, but anatomically revealed. Every flaw, every perfect curve, now naked to the eye.
Then, an ultrasonic scour. Sound waves performing surgery at a molecular scale, where brushes cannot reach.
Abrasion to the point of purity. Every micro imperfection of corrosion, Every stain is scoured away to reveal virgin metal.
The truth, forced into the light. Flaws invisible to the naked eye are betrayed by physics.
Seeing through solid metal. A birth defect from its original casting, hidden for a lifetime, now fatal to its future.
Measured in microns. A human hair is 70. Our tolerance is 2. This piston has lived 5 microns beyond its life.
The condemned. Their service is over, their form is flawed, but their material essence holds infinite potential.
The return to origin, to the primal state from which all form is born.
Purified by electric fire. At 3,000 degrees, memory is erased. Alloy becomes liquid potential.
The moment of release. Liquid light, flowing like water, but carrying the latent force of continents. Given new form, no longer a broken block, but a pristine ingot. Atomic structure reset, ready to be shaped by a new will.
From primal ingot to geometric perfection, the journey from chaos to order begins with the first cut.
Mass removal with nanometer precision. Tons of material carved away, leaving only the intended form within.
The cylinder, the cathedral where power is born. Its walls must be perfectly round, perfectly smooth.
Turgors. Not all must be melted. What is true and straight can be restored. Micron by micron.
Verified. Every dimension, every surface, every angle now matches the original digital dream. The foundation is laid.
Branded with its new identity. This number will carry a factory warranty, indistinguishable from one born yesterday.
The new anatomy. Every wear component, every point of friction is replaced. The engine's internals will be 100% new.
The first touch of the new world. A bearing shell, placed by hand, but guided by a tolerance of 0.
The return of the piston. Not a prisoner of friction, but a sovereign in a glass-smooth kingdom.
The soul returns to its cradle. Balanced, polished, and resting on a film of oil thinner than a wavelength of light.
Not just tightened, but stretched to a calculated yield. The bolt becomes a permanent spring, locking the heart in place with molecular tension. Where human hands tremble, machines perform with godlike consistency. 32 hearts for 32 valves.
The synchronization of 1,000 moving parts begin with this single chain. One tooth off, and the symphony becomes cacophony.
The final seal. A continuous bead of liquid gasket, compressed to a micron-thin barrier against the world.
Assembly complete. A new being, forged from old souls and new intent, awaiting its first breath. The final assembly demands a temple, a space where a single mote of dust is heresy. This is the threshold.
Here, the sacred union is sealed. Every bolt's tension is recorded, validated, and logged. A digital birth certificate is written in Newton meters.
Nervous system integration, a task of frustrating complexity for human hands, executed with machined grace and optical certainty.
Before the first heartbeat, the lifeblood is pumped through every artery. No dry start. No moment of friction without protection.
Move to the arena, where promises are tested and performance is measured in raw, unfiltered data.
The moment of ignition. A new heart beats for the first time, its rhythm monitored by a dozen digital guardians.
The moment of truth requires a crucible, not a car, but a machine that can measure the very soul of motion.
A single command. The culmination of 10,000 acts of precision. The first spark.
The first breath. Dry pistons in dry cylinders, building compression, building potential.
The spark of life. Controlled lightning meeting atomized fuel. The alchemy that turns liquid into force.
And it lives. Not a cough, not a sputter, but the clear, confident voice of controlled explosions in perfect harmony.
The first request for power. A gentle climb up the mountain, feeling for the shape of its soul.
Trial by fire. Stressed to its theoretical limits. For hours. It must not merely run, it must sing under torture.
Watch through the eyes of heat. The thermal signature must be a perfect, controlled map. Any anomaly is a cry for help. The blood is tested, beat by beat, searching for the first sign of self-cannibalization. A single glitter of metal tells a story.
The storm passes.
The numbers are cast in ink. Not aspirations, but proven facts. A performance birth certificate.
Its provenance is now immutable, etched not in metal, but in a digital ledger shared across the world.
The final mark. A badge that declares it equal to, and often superior than, the day it first left the factory. Cocooned for its journey into a second life. It will travel across continents, its tolerances undisturbed. And so they leave. Not as scrap, not as cores, but as certified mechanical hearts, seeking new bodies. Its destination, not a factory, but a temple of service, where the promise of rebirth meets the expectation of excellence, unveiled in its final arena. Every surface, every connection point inspected once more, with the client's expectation as the ultimate gauge. A vessel awaiting its new soul. The old, failed heart removed, the cavity sterilized and prepared. The union. Not a repair, but a restoration of intent. The heart finds its new home.
The last connection. The nervous system is integrated. The vessel is now whole.
The veins are filled. Not by gravity, but by vacuum, ensuring no bubble of air remains to betray the thermal harmony.
The moment between potential and kinetic. A lifetime of labor, a mountain of precision, distilled into a single touch. And it breathes, not the roar of the dyno cell, but the purr of purpose restored. A heart beating in its intended body.
The final diagnosis is not from a machine, but from a trained ear pressed to its chest, listening for the music of perfect harmony.
The circle is complete. From wreckage to warranty, from scrap to showroom, a second life, with all the vigor of the first.
The final truth is written in carbon. A remanufactured engine demands a fraction of the Earth's bounty compared to one born from virgin ore.
This is not recycling. This is reincarnation with purpose. The same metal, the same atom.
Welcome back. For the owner, it's not about metal. It's about restoration. Of machine, of trust, of passion.
This is not a niche process. It is a global symphony of renewal. Thousands of engines every day.
A brand new engine does not always mean new metal. It means new tolerances.
The audio is characterized by the soft, steady hum of computer servers and the rhythmic beeping of a
This is not a graveyard. It is a harvest. A continuous, careful harvest of potential from what the world calls waste. The victory is atomic. Billions of bonds preserved, requiring no new furnace, no new mine, no new carbon release. The covenant, a promise sealed not in paper, but in fluid, that this new life will be protected from its very first moment.
Here is the final, inarguable truth. To the world, to the machine, to the warranty, there is no difference. Only the planet knows the secret.
This is not an end. It is a new beginning for the metal. In the silence, the cycle rests, but the potential remains. Tomorrow, the harvest begins anew.
Planetary nervous system. Wreckage in Sydney becomes a warranted heart in Munich. A flood-damaged core in Houston finds new life in Dubai. The true precision is not in the machine, but in the hand that guides it. The wisdom is not in the software, but in the eye that interprets it.
Their service continues, not as replacements, but as equals, carrying families, delivering.
And so it waits, not as an end, but as a possibility. A seed for the next rebirth.
When the past runs out of parts, we write new ones in atoms. Laser by laser, layer by layer, we resurrect the irreplaceable.
The most precious tool is not made of steel. It is knowledge, passed from one set of hands to another.
The pursuit of perfection has no finish line. We look deeper to the atomic arrangement.
The motion is carried. The Platinum Reman standard is officially adopted.
From best practice to global standard.
Every action creates a ripple. Every engine saved, a wave.
The soul of the craft remains unchanged, but the hands have grown stronger, the eyes sharper, the mind
This is not anecdote. It is arithmetic. The aggregate of a million careful acts becomes a mountain of preserved resources.
The greatest engine ever rebuilt leaves no serial number. It is the knowledge built in a human mind, now entrusted to the next generation.
The principles remain. Compression, ignition, force. Only the chemistry changes.
This is the new face of industry. Not a take, but a return. Not an end, but a perpetual beginning.
We build for the future we will never see. We craft perfection today so that
This is the new textbook. Not theory, but proof. A testament that the highest form of technology is technology that can renew itself. The true test of belief isn't what you sell, it's what you keep. This wall isn't branding, it's proof.
One path digs a hole in the earth, the other fills a hole in our conscience. The choice is not between old and new, it is between take and return.
The journey is global. These hearts cross oceans, not as commodities, but as ambassadors of a new industrial philosophy. The linear economy is a dead end. We build circles, where the end of one life
Cleared by the eyes of sovereign nations. This is not gray market parts. This is certified, traceable, legitimate engineering, welcomed across borders.
From the moment of impact to this moment of installation, its entire life is an open book. This is the new standard of trust.
The covenant is honored. For every new heart installed, an old one returns. The circle is not just philosophical.
We have crossed from metallurgy to nanotechnology. The battle against friction is now fought one atomic bond at a time.
We summon lightning to armor the metal. Not a coating applied, but a skin grown from the base material itself. Harder than steel, lighter than hope.
The next revolution flows. Not thicker, but smarter. Lubricants that carry their own repair.
We no longer wait for metal to fail. We have its ghost, its digital twin, which confesses.
We teach materials to heal themselves, to feel injury and respond. This is not maintenance. This is...
Trust is encoded. Scrap. The process teaches the factory.
We don't replace the worker, we amplify them. Here, human intuition meets machine-perfect memory. The end is woven into the beginning. The factory of the future has a heartbeat within it.
The geometry of function is eternal. The dreams of the first engineers are now executed with atomic precision.
That's the most beautiful turbocharger I've ever seen.
The final measure of our work is in the pride we chrometer.
The craft is not just what we do, it is who we are. It is etched into our skin and coded into our pride.
Precision is a language spoken in many dialects. For some, it is a number on a screen. For others, it is a song felt through the bones.
85 Newton meters, plus 90 degrees.
Some truths are too important for a manual.
We preserve not just metal, but memory. Every design that passed through here is kept, a library of...
We teach metal to shed time itself. Corrosion, the slow entropy of oxidation, meets a surface that refuses its touch. Nothing is waste. What padded a luxury interior becomes raw material for new industries. The circle widens to encompass every molecule. We close every loop, even the energy loop. The power to rebuild comes from preventing waste elsewhere. The process nourishes itself.
The first human signature, a promise that this shattered thing is worthy, not of burial, but of second chances.
This is the distance we travel, not in miles, but in will. From what was to what can be again.
The heart may be the engine, but the soul is in the details. We restore not just function, but character, texture, and memory.
This is the new circulatory system of the planet. Not veins of oil, but streams of proof.
The spark is passed, not through grease and grit alone, but through light and code. The next architects of renewal are already studying our work.
And so it continues. Not because it must, but because it should.
Every journey begins with the first tool. Not just a device, but a covenant. A promise that these hands will be taught to care for what they touch.
The foundation of a cathedral is a single, perfectly placed stone. The foundation of a remanufactured engine is a single, perfectly cleaned bolt.
The first skill is not in the hands, but in the eyes. Learning to see what the world calls fine, and understanding it is not fine enough.
The feel is learned, the symphony of click, vibration, and resistance that speaks of perfect tension. It becomes a language of the nerves. Yes.
The first day closes. In the mirror of polished steel, she sees not just a mechanic.
The true database is not in the cloud. It is in the collective memory of those who solved these problems before computers could.
We plant seeds in unlikely soil, showing that the way things work is not magic, it is a skill that can be learned, a future that can be built.
A failure is not a person's fault. It is the system's teacher. We gather not to judge, but to listen to what the metal is trying to tell us.
The love for the machine does not end at the time clock. It spills over into everything we touch, transforming the functional into the beautiful.
The moment of arrival, when the student becomes the peer, and the circle of knowledge.
Every engine in the field is now a teacher. They phone home, not with complaints, but with wisdom.
We are no longer limited by the speed of physical testing. We simulate reality at the
We take responsibility for every molecule, not just avoiding new carbon, but actively scrubbing the sky above us.
The craft
is a river.
It changes its banks, its speed, its tools.
Final lesson. The students become the masters. They look at our world and see not the end, but the next beginning.
Every revolution begins with a single turn. This bolt, cleaned by uncertain hands,
Not all journeys end in failure. Some end in quiet triumph, having given every possible ounce of...
Even the water is part of the circle. Cleaned, renewed, and returned, just like the metal it washes.
The day ends. The craftsman departs, but his shadow remains etched in the memory of the space.
The facility is a living thing. It grows, adapts, evolves, but its purpose remains eternal.
We work with materials older than life itself. The sand that scours our engines once scoured mountains.
When the hands can no longer lift the real thing, the mind still dreams in perfect scale.
Stripped of noise, of purpose, of context, what remains? Pure form, geometry forged with intention, the ghost of function in search of its machine.
The moment of becoming. When the student's hands birth something that lives, that sings, that is worthy.
Before bytes, there was paper. Before databases, there were minds. These pages are the unbroken chain back to the original dreamers.
The ultimate metric. Not profit, not output, but what we do not produce. Waste.
Perfect, as always. It's ready.
Precision is not a function of the eyes, but of attention.
We measure our success not in what we take from the earth, but in what we give back to it. Even our waste becomes life.
And so it continues. Not just the rebuilding of machines, but the rebuilding of people, each one teaching.
This is the unseen force. Not a factory, but a field of energy.
Some metal has a longer memory than the people who shaped it. This block has outlived its first car and its...
The true test of reliability is not on a racetrack, not in a dirt road.
The world's appetite for renewal is insatiable. For every engine we rebirth, another arrives, tired and...
This
Aligning. Contact.
The wheel turns. The shell returns to the earth. The heart finds a new home.
It begins with a single piece, and it ends with a single piece. The rest is just care.
We don't rebuild engines. We rebuild trust. We rebuilt the promise that something can be better than new.
In the space between rotations, between combustion events,
MackFactory, where metal remembers and precision is reborn.